the internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward. There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over SWIFT one day?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24-Hour Script. Let's get right in today's video. Lots of uncertainty over at Twitter with misinformation and people from the left and from the right saying you're wrong, no, this happened. Well, in today's video, we're gonna set out the fire that Project Mariana started, and the facts we're gonna put out are gonna be undisputable. Okay, where do we even begin? First of all, scalability. Let's start with scalability. In this video, share it with everybody. Whoever says they're not gonna be utilizing Ripple or XRP, they will be. I'm gonna cut right to the chase here. Seth, well, that's not his full name. Sethafud Sutapanjodoput said, okay, you gotta listen to what he said here. He's at the Bank of Thailand, member of Monetary Policy Committee for 8 years, almost 9 years, and he's still there. Take a listen to what he says here. And then we're gonna get into this Project Mariana. You know what? I'm gonna read this first because what he says goes hand in hand with Project Mariana. They make it very clear that this is just a test. For the purely explorative purposes of this proof of concept and to reduce the overall complexity of the implemented solution, the domestic platforms as well as the international network are based on Ethereum. Domestic platforms are permissioned versions of Ethereum, Hyperledger, or Quorum, and the international network is an Ethereum testnet. Okay? The project is purely experimental and does not indicate that any of the involved central banks intend to issue CBDC or endorse DeFi or particular technological solutions. This is just a testnet.
So with that background, if I may, some of the takeaways and whatnot. First point, beyond the technology, one thing we discovered, particularly in the wholesale CBDC cross-border project, is that blockchain, the way it's set up, it's really it's very good for things that are to be open and transparent. But when you try to put in kind of anonymity in it, it affects the ability of it to scale. Data privacy. So yeah, so when in the cross-border wholesale CBDC, you didn't want everybody to kind of see what transaction you were doing, right? You wanted the people that were party transacting to see, but not the other people to see that. But when you put in these anonymity things, it really affected the computational problems, and then it made it that much more difficult to scale. It really affected the computational problems, and then it made it that much more difficult to scale.
And we even have individuals like Mike Blandina, okay, he's currently head of global payments at JP Morgan. Before that, he was at Bakkt. Before that, he was at VP for engineering at PayPal, engineering director for payments at Google. Very highly individual here, reputable. And this is what he said about Bitcoin and Ethereum. It just won't work.
A year ago, but I think Bitcoin and Ethereum have failed to be a payment method.
And let's get on to this whole Project Mariana, Ethereum, and Curve, apparently. Okay, so the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta Policy Hub, this was published in 2023. And over here, they stated that Ripple and Stellar are two blockchain-based companies that are trying to make value transfer cheaper. Ripple provides various services via the use of the native token, the XRP, which is roughly envisioned as an international payment medium or wholesale settlement coin. And if you guys, this is where things get very interesting. Through its innovation hub, the BIS is investigating the use of automated markets for token. Project Mariana uses a fork of the Curve pool and is designed as a proof of concept. All these systems are going to require regulatory clarity. That's where a lot of people, they forget about that. Is Ethereum, Are they regulated in every jurisdiction? What is going on? What's the status? You got to listen to what Jerome Powell said here.
The potentially fast and wide adoption of a global stablecoin, potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company, is something that will deserve and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectations,
And this is where Ripple's secret sauce is, apparently. So this is what David Schwartz tweeted. Hey, what's that thing you're trying to fly under the radar? If we go click on it, it's about their update. XLS 30D automated market maker on the XRPL. These protocols use smart contracts to define the price of digital assets and provide liquidity, and are known as liquidity pools. Examples of AMMs are Uniswap, Balancer, and Curve. As for AMMs, an entity can become a liquidity provider as long as it meets the requirements encoded into the smart contract. This is what Ripple is bringing. In order to increase liquidity and pool supplier profits while allowing arbitrage to remain profitable, Ripple is considering geometric mean of market makers as a native XRPL feature. According to the GitHub discussions, they're working on a function that would continuously auction off zero-fee trading slots for arbitrageurs and give these earnings to liquidity providers, speeding up arbitrage because there is no trading fee eating up potential profits. Proclaiming that XRPL AMM would be a liquidity monster, the experts stated that the proposal is still under discussion, that needs to be first tested and voted through. And this is why we have all of these use cases on Ripple. We have the EVM sidechains, XLS 38D cross-chain bridges. And here we have the automated market maker, XLS 30D. They have everything intact here. And talking about the Mbridge project, for example, right, with UBS, they're involved in that. 7 leading banks joined Ripple's global network back in 2016, and guess what? UBS was one of those banks. What's going on behind the scenes? A lot of information that hasn't been released yet. When their partners are ready to do so, they will. And take a listen to what BitBoy 2.0 says here about we're just at the tip of the iceberg with this transformation. And he's basically telling us to think outside the box, pretend like it's not coming. We never saw, phones coming. That's, again, the perfect example from yesterday's video.
These foreseeable gains may just be the tip of the iceberg of additional transformations. Think about how the smartphone displays digital cameras. It was not because it takes better pictures, but because it's easier to share these pictures with friends through the same device.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we will be back with another video.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.